This is my teaching philosophy. This is something that I've written down as my want and need to do better as a teacher and why I do so. Each part is a discussion based off of my goals as a teacher, for why I do the things that I do, how I will teach someone, my thoughts on grades and homework and other things that have to do with students turning in their level of masteries to me, how I feel about disciplinary actions and mistakes made by students, either on a social or educational level, and then at the end it is just a synopsis. So let's begin. My goal as a teacher is to impart the needed knowledge for my students to become successful individuals and to achieve their goals in life. The introduction of critical thinking and adaptive/lifelong learning is important for young students to become well-rounded and independent adults that make the world a better and more informed place. For my students, my goals are to be the driving force for their want and need to learn. I want to be the one that is able to facilitate their creativity, logical thinking, and drive in a way that encourages them to continue on with their education. I feel that it is important that students have that one person in their life that makes teaching a positive experience for them. So it's not just, you know what the teacher is saying, here's a test, okay, go to the next class. The only way to teach someone else as effectively as possible is to first be in their shoes as a student. To educate myself thoroughly in all the fields that I will be teaching is one of the few ways that effective teaching can be implemented. I feel that a well-rounded teacher should utilize all the ways that learning can be emphasized. Lecturing may work for one kind of student, but not for another. There are so many different teaching styles that can be made into a fun activity that still gets the material across to students as clearly and concisely as possible. Studies have also shown that under a certain age, homework is not effective. So homework and sitting at a desk and being the good little worker that children are supposed to be isn't really a benefit to their actual learning, and they only learn how to learn a very specific way. As a teacher, I choose to be lenient with my grades, my late work, and my homework. All the coursework weighed together will determine if a student is understanding what I'm trying to teach, with each section being broken down into a module that has homework, activities, small quizzes, and assessments that do not look like assessments to students. So fun little activities that show that they're understanding the content that you have given them, and small assessments of the class over time to see if they're actually catching on to the material that I'm teaching. For the disciplinary actions, every opportunity, mistake, and action is a learning opportunity that my students and I can grow from. The need to be stern, not strict, and loving is important for the growth of my students and the respect that I show towards them as my students and as their teacher. My discipline will reflect the task and the behavior of the students. A talk about feelings will be had, and a mutual understanding and apology will end the conversation. A promise will be made to do better on both of our parts, and we will move on in a healthy manner. That is the best case scenario. When I go over each student's work and the work that has been done as a whole, I will run a self-assessment. I will look for common misunderstandings of the topics that I have taught, any doubt or hesitation from my students, and my actions towards the class as a whole. My goal is to improve myself so as not to become a stagnant teacher. And I understand the importance of doing small self-assessments in my teaching over time, just like I do for my students, just to make sure that I'm adapting to my students as well as my students adapting to me. Thank you.